Ruha, you've entered this debate from a very different door, which is economic power. You're really worried about how there's an absence of Muslim women across the board in senior leadership positions. Can you tell us how you got triggered? You were a doctor, Harvard graduate. You could have been doing everything else. You come into social entrepreneurship, trying to raise up women who don't have opportunity. What was your trigger?
Thank you for having me. My trigger was something that I realized in my 20s. I did my 2 + 2 is equal to 5, like realizing it was more than these two separate stories much later. And what my 2 + 2 was, I'm the middle child in a family of 2 brothers and a sister.
Time. We're going to run out of time.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I just
sorry. And my brothers and I got a lot of education, and my father is a doctor, my mother is a homemaker. And we would still joke at home that we get the brains from my mother. My mother is an incredibly intelligent person who, when we were in Saudi Arabia, ended up being the first Indian woman to win the chess championship in her district multiple times over. But she's also someone who did not complete her high school. And for me, in my head, these were two separate stories. Like, incredibly intelligent woman, and didn't complete her schooling. And much later did I realize what that really means, right? It's untapped potential of Muslim women that continues to be a challenge in India. And then if all of us aren't contributing to the most of our potential, it's holding the country back.
Right. So, you've shared that this was your mother, that was a personal trigger, but you also found that when you were applying to Harvard, there were no mentors who were Muslim women. So you've incubated about 300, fellows who've got entry now. But you did a survey where, you made women apply to 1,000 jobs. And the survey showed that there was a 47% bias against Muslim women. That if a Hindu woman or any other name applied, and a Muslim applied, that there was a 47% bias in a Muslim woman getting a call back. How has that shifted did you share that data with any corporates or others? How have people responded, and has there been any shifts?
Yes, so people have responded positively to it. So just a summary of the study, we created 2 resumes, Priyanka Sharma, Habiba Ali, applied to 1,000 jobs.
Just because, don't tell us the modalities, we're just taking your results. How did people respond to that?
So we had a lot of companies reach out to us showing interest in this. And I think that's what was powerful, is we don't talk about the Muslim issue. We don't even call it the Muslim issue. At best, it's minorities or the M word. So putting this out there actually sparked a lot of conversation. We've been invited to several companies to share our findings and to share ideas on how companies can be more inclusive and religiously diverse in our country.
Right. So, very quickly, can you 3 address, I'm going to come back to you, Ruha, with, how it impacted, say, the men in the family when you have helped women pass through the doorway. But before that, this little shard of a thought that all 3 of you have addressed about why is it that there's a kind of general perception about Islam being very restrictive, and all 3 of you have spoken about how Wahhabi Islam is now become the window through which, so tell us about that, Sheeba.
So yes, I'll talk about it, but adding to what she has said about the profiling. See, we in India, in a very precarious situation, we want to bring in reforms inside the Muslim community. But because of the Islamophobia that is so rampant now in India, every now and then there are calls of Muslim genocide. Even they are calling 20 lakh Muslims have to be killed, etc. So because of that reason, it is so difficult to talk about reforms within the community. It is always, we are in a siege mentality that we are under attack and we should not be talking and we should wait for the ideal time. That ideal time never comes. So when are we going to put forward our own issues? That is one thing I wanted to add to that. Now, secondly, what you are talking about Wahhabism is, see, the fountainhead of Wahhabism, that itself is changing now. The MBS phenomena in Saudi Arabia, everyone is surprised at what is happening over there. So the Indian clergy find itself at a loss of words even, because they don't know now how to talk about those principles or those ideals. For them, the Islamic ideal type was Saudi Arabia, and now Saudi Arabia is changing. So things are changing for good. Globally, I hope things change good for our good in India as well. And when we talk about gender rights, gender justice, fairness, it is about all the genders, not just one gender. And that is something very important I wanted to underline within Islamic feminism.